Hello, I'm going to talk about scales today. Just a quick recap of where I'm actually at with playing them. I can play them at 120 BPM, all of them, staccato, legato, 4 octaves, 2 octaves, all of them. Um, some of them still give me trouble, like I still make some mistakes with some of them at that speed, like E flat melodic minor or B flat minor as well. A few of the ones with a lot of like flats and sharps. But generally, I can play all of them. With arpeggios, I can play arpeggios at around 90 BPM as well, not 120. I can play some of them at 120 actually. I can play like obviously like C major at 120. But some of the harder ones, like the ones with two sharps, like um, C sharp, G sharp, F sharp, minor, they give me a bit of trouble at 90. They give me a bit of trouble at 90 because the gap between the third and the fifth is actually slightly larger. Right, is actually slightly larger than the major version. So D flat would be easier for me than C sharp at 90. See, I actually made a mistake there. Yeah, that little jump there. Yeah, so that's an example. Like those tiny slip ups, well, not tiny, but those slip ups, that they happen with G sharp and F sharp as well. Like even E flat minor is easier for me because it's just black keys. Yeah, so that's where I'm at with those. However, the more interesting thing is hang on, let me show you. So the more interesting thing, however, is someone gave me this book for Christmas, Playing Popular Piano and Keyboards by Neil Thomas. You can see that there. This book is different to all the other books I have. All the other books are either a load of sheet music or like a steady progression, like Adult Piano Adventures, which teaches you like concepts and then gives you pieces to play that teach you those concepts. And this is about learning how to improvise at the piano and understand. It's a lot of theory in here, and it starts off by teaching you chords, so like the 4 basic chords, so major chord, minor chords, augmented, diminished, and then it goes on to teaching more chords, and it teaches you about like how they're relevant to scales, and working out how to form a chord as well yourself if you know your scales. So that's actually what I've also been doing every now and again, when I'm not playing pieces. And what I like to do is I have like some cards here, and they're numbered from 1 to 7. The number from 1 to 7, and I'll like shuffle them or whatever, and I'll take 3 or 4, and I'll put that. That's a bit complicated. And then I'll put them in any order, whatever, and then I'll play them. So what I mean by play them, I'll play these chords. So I'll pick a random key signature. So let's say like G major, and then I'll play the first of G major, the third of G major, and the sixth of G major. I'll play them in some order. So let's say first, sixth, and then third. And I'll just play very simple stuff. A very simple chord. So just the root position chord. And I might do some inversions from that root position. So I'll play the first, and then sixth, which would be E minor, then third, which would be B major, right? So then I'll just practice doing that chord progression. And the point of doing that is to learn to switch between chords in any given key signature. Then I might add a little bit more with my left hand. So maybe, what was it? So it's, yeah. Or even or whatever. And the book that I just showed you basically teaches you how to do that. It teaches you what things you can do yourself to make a harmony interesting, make chord progressions interesting, and also play it alongside a melody. So instead of just playing a melody line and then playing a chord beside it, just whatever. Instead of doing that, you can add part of the chord to the melody line, or you can like add octaves or whatever you want. It gives you a bunch of ideas, and it says it's up to you. Just learn how to do all of those things, and you'll get creative and whatever. And it doesn't actually have a lot of sheet music in it. If I can show you, like, look, if you can see that's mostly text. Like it's a lot of theory, more text. That whole chapter doesn't have any sheet music in it. But it does have a few examples to illustrate some of the points it makes when talking about chords and chord progressions. And one of them is Hey Jude. And it has the melody line of Hey Jude there, and it says, this is the melody line of Hey Jude. Now, based on what you know, you can just play a harmony alongside it, whatever you want. Even if, like, you could even just play the harmony line and have someone singing. So I didn't actually learn the melody line. I was like, what would happen if I was accompanying a singer? Which, by the way, I'm not a singer, but I'm going to give you an example. So please pardon my singing, my terrible singing. But I came up with just a very simple Hey Jude. And like I said, that's not in the book. I came up with it with just that simple thing, that simple accompaniment, with the instructions that are in the book. So I'm excited to do that with like a bunch of other stuff, because what the book recommends is finding songs or any kind of sheet music that only has a melody line and tells you the chords, because then that's when you can experiment. You can add part of the melody line into the chords, or vice versa, and loads of stuff that you can do. Anyway, so I thought it would be important to talk about this. I know I didn't play much this week, but like I've said before, this journal for me is supposed to record like the milestones that I have when learning the piano. So this, I think, is another milestone that I've hit. Just that kind of aha moment about learning chords and learning chord progressions and how to switch between them, and how I can get creative myself with them. So yeah, next week I'll play a piece, a short piece. So see you then.